we have our Niknax coffee chat. So I hope you all are doing well. We're going to talk about Niknax today. Let me get switched over to subscribers only on YouTube, and then we will get started. All right. Hopefully you guys had some time to check out the store, which is located somewhere around your screen. I see there's 49 items in there, which means one was purchased because I think I had 50 in there this morning. So thank you for the purchase. The items featured in the store are from around the marketplace. So they're not necessarily my items, but there's some great stuff in there from some of our sellers. So go check it out. All right, let's see. This week, I remember how to do it. So it'll only take me a second. We're having a good morning. I remember how to do it this morning. All right. So I'm switching over YouTube to subscribers only. So what that means is if you have not been subscribed for 2 years, you cannot comment on YouTube. But you can come over and join us on Niknax.net. That is Niknax.net, because that is where we currently are having this chat. So even though you might see it on YouTube or Facebook, the chat is happening on Niknax.net. All right, so let me grab this. Look what I did. I got a notebook. I got a notebook instead of Post-its. Per your suggestion last week, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a notebook. Let's try that. Then I won't have Post-its sprinkled everywhere. We'll see how long it lasts, though, because it's going to take, like, I think maybe a week before I end up, like, leaving it somewhere and losing it. At least the Post-its are, like, right in my face, and they're like, oh, my gosh. But then, granted, I don't know what Post-it I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I could put the Post-its inside of it. I like that. Oh, that's a great idea. Put the Post-its inside of it. Oh, see, I wouldn't have thought of that. But then they're all in one place. So I don't even have to write in the notebook. I get to write on the Post-its and then put the Post-its in the book. It's like a whole workaround there. All right, let me get our notes. What's a Post-it girl? Always a Post-it girl. All right, let me see. Oh, my goodness. Come on, I need the notes. Okay. All right, we've got a lot to talk about today, so we are going to get started. Junk journaling with a purpose. I like that. Oh, yeah, I should put the date. We should. Oh, it's like we're back in school. Right, I'm going to put the date. I don't even know what the day is. It is the 15th. 4/15/2025. At least I know what year it is, because sometimes I blank out on what year it is, you know? All right, so where's my water? All right, so let me take a sip of water, and then we'll get started. Yeah, it's last day for taxes. That's right. Okay, so we currently have 41,771 members. That's a lot. We gained 309 members since last week. So welcome to all of our new members. It's fantastic to have you here. In addition to that, we have 24 new sellers. That brings us to 4,403. Did you get the ones I added this morning? I added a bunch this morning. So 4,403. So welcome to all of our new members. Welcome to all of our new sellers. It is wonderful to have you here as a part of Niknax. I always say, it takes a little bit of time to get approved to be a seller, but it is usually worth the wait. It's a pretty happening marketplace, and great vibes. Good vibes. So welcome to everybody who is new to us. It's wonderful to have you here. We currently have, I'm not on Facebook. What do you mean I'm not on Facebook? What? Not on Facebook. Didn't take. All right. Well, hopefully now we are casting to Facebook. But all right. So let's get started with the notes. Okay. Yes, welcome to all of the new members. That's where we start. I already did that part. Oh, that's a great idea. So when you log in to Niknax for the day, encourage you guys to check out the chat channels. Share something in the chat channels. Christina's example is what you most look forward to for that day. Like what you most need. Maybe you're hoping to find something, or a sale that you're looking forward to, or something like that. Engagement and engage the community. So I think that's a wonderful idea. So definitely be checking out those chat channels. Laughter. What is that? Laughter. What is that? Okay. Cheers to a wonderful past week of fun and whimsy and creativity. Absolutely. Lots of incredible multi-day auctions. Yes. So we finally got the multi-day auctions looking good on the front page. I was able to get them so that it's soonest ending first. So it is soonest ending first. So now if you go to our homepage, it says auctions ending soon, and you will see all of our multi-day auctions. The one coming up, ending the soonest, is going to be first on the homepage. And then if you click see more, you will see all of our multi-day auctions, and there are a lot of them. And there's some really fantastic stuff in there. I was looking through it the other day, and I even posted to Crazy Lamp Lady, like, come check out the multi-day auctions, because there's some really great stuff in there for reasonable prices. So if you get a chance, make sure you're browsing through the multi-day auctions. I mean, I'm looking through them right now. We've got some really great stuff. There's a really neat paperweight in there starting at $30. Let me give you guys a peek, show you what I'm looking at. Check this out. Starting at just $30. So we've got that in there. Oh my gosh, this bunny, look at that. That reminds me of that Israeli glass. That's pretty sweet. So yeah, do some browsing, check it out, see what you can find. I mean, it's not that instant gratification that a lot of people are looking for. You have to wait until the auction ends. There's a little bit of maybe a last minute battle, but you might find some really great stuff in here. So I would encourage you. Yeah, look, there's Sabino. Yeah, a little Kokeshi. So make sure you're checking that out. And also, I think somewhere on the back end, the district was able to flip a switch and make it so that the live auctions are no longer showing in that tab. So now we're just seeing multi-day auctions in that section. Before, it was like inundated with upcoming lives listings, and that was kind of like clogging it up a little bit. So it was hard to see those multi-day auctions. Now it is all entirely multi-day auctions, which is fantastic. So now you can really see what's going on in there. And I think that's wonderful. So I tried adding another one for just strictly jewelry. Oh, yours is still showing the scheduled ones. Interesting. I don't know why it would do that. Maybe it's different on a phone. I don't know if you're on a phone. But I was trying to add one for jewelry, and I could not get one up and added for jewelry. So I'll have to play with that a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm only seeing. Yeah, maybe the app is different. Ooh, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that in my notebook. App versus desktop multi-day. All right, auctions, and then maybe I can bring that up. First thing in the notebook. Okay. All right, so I wanted to just encourage you guys to definitely be checking that out, because that was just a cool little thing that happened this week. Make sure you're using the search button on the Niknax homepage, niknax.net. You want to be on niknax.net when you're searching, and not district.net /Niknax, because if you're over there, you're searching all of district. If you're on niknax.net, you're searching Niknax. You're searching our sellers, you're searching our marketplace, and you're supporting our sellers. So I would encourage you, if you're going to do a search, make sure you are on niknax.net. A lot of our artists have been going live on Thursdays, so make sure, if you want to check out some of the art hangout stuff on Thursdays, they're doing demonstrations, they're, just hanging out. It's a really fun, laid back kind of, there's a sale. There's stuff in the buy it now, but a lot of demonstrations and just really a cool group. So that happens every Thursday. So I'd encourage you, if you love art, and you just want to like hang out and, have some company, maybe on a Thursday, just pop into the art hangout and check that out. So fabric, buttons, trim, and more train was this week. Now I did add some collections. They're not tags anymore. I added some collections for that. We will get to that. I'm going to write that down in my notebook to talk about tags, collections. Sorry, I might be calling them tags until the end of time, and everybody who's new is going to be like, "What's a tag?" So I have to just remind myself not to call them tags. So we do have a few new collections for that category. And today, while I was actually going through applications, I was seeing a lot of applications for, sellers with fabrics, buttons, patterns. And so I was approving some sellers in that category, which was really cool. So maybe we'll see that category continue to grow. And I know Julie has been really instrumental in trying to build that category. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. So that's going to be awesome. That's going to be really fantastic. Remember that if you have any suggestions for collections, I am looking in the collections suggestions. I might not be responding in there, but I am like peeking around in there, seeing what you guys are suggesting. So if you have suggestions, I may not use your suggestion, but I am looking in there. So make sure that you are like looking around and or posting in there if you have a suggestion. Yes, snacks is on my list. Snacks is dead. So I've just been doing a few categories at a time. I'm not just doing it all at once because it involves hiding old categories, which I feel like is like a little disruptive to everything. So it's kind of been a gradual thing, but we can talk about that a little bit more. Yes, actually, you guys are mentioning Joann's going out of business right here, especially the train that we had, this week, especially with Joann's going out of business. I think that has really ramped up our applications for that category, which has been fantastic. So I think it's a great opportunity to bring some of those sellers in. If you are interested in participating in the monthly fabric, buttons, trims, and more, please DM fabric and treasures _Julie if you want to get in on that. Especially if you had applied and you were just approved today. You do have to go through live onboarding, but if you want to get in on that train, that's a great opportunity. Okay, let's see. All of our live sellers, you guys know we appreciate you going live, buy it now sellers as well. I think there's a shout out to our live sellers here, but you guys know we appreciate all of you. This community is just amazing. It's fantastic. And that being said, I've been seeing a lot more buy it nows popping off. And I think that has to do with our listings showing up on Google. I think a lot of people are coming over from Google. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about that too. I saw you live last night. I snuck in the back, and man, you were killing it. The vintage butterfly. Yeah, that was awesome. That was fantastic. Late night live. Yeah, I was like laying in bed. I was like just about to pass out, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the sale. But I went in the back because I knew I was about to pass out, and I didn't want to like go in and then like, oh, hey, Jocelyn. And then I like closed my eyes and I was done, and maybe you would talk to me and I'd be asleep. So, that would have been a bad idea. The Mrs. Roper vintage qual train, that was fantastic. I was able to pop in a little bit on that, both in the front and the back, but I absolutely loved that everybody, was having a great time dressing up. That was fantastic. Great. Just a great idea, community building, have just fun. And I mean, I think that's what this Niknax is all about, is just building the community, having fun. Like that's one of our core values here, I feel like. So absolutely fantastic. We've been seeing a lot of anniversary sales, which is wonderful. It's crazy to think that like we've, been here, like we've been established. And it's just amazing. So I've been trying to pop into anniversary sales when I see you guys having your anniversaries, and just know that I appreciate all of you. I think it's amazing that we've been at this for a year, and here's to another year. Let's do it again. Okay. I will answer questions, but I'm going to try to wait until the end. Otherwise, I get way off on a tangent. So I will have time for questions today. Don't worry. So hold your questions. Maybe write them down on a Post-it so that you have them set aside. Okay. Okay. So if you need to contact us, there are options for you. Okay. Community@niknax.net is how you contact our help desk. So you can contact, and I've talked about this before, and for all of our new members, you can contact our help desk for issues that you're having with, if you're a seller having issues with a buyer, if you're a buyer having issues with a seller, stuff like that. When it gets to the financial end of things, like, like refunds and stuff like that. But even if you message us and I have to refer you to district support, that's okay. Sometimes I have to do that. And I've done that before, and district is incredibly helpful, but it just kind of it gives us like a funnel to get people where they need to go. So community@niknax.net. The other thing that really helps with, having that help desk is it also helps us spot patterns. So, if we get multiple reports from a seller about a buyer who's just, maybe causing trouble, asking for refunds, canceling consistently, we know to either watch that person, send them a message, maybe give them a warning, maybe ban them, and so I did actually have to ban somebody this week for failed payment, not responding to a message, because we did add that to our guidelines. You have 24 hours to either respond or square up with our sellers, and if that doesn't happen, we show you to the door. So I did have to do that this week. But I think that's a really important guideline, because it makes sure that, our sellers are being, paid. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. And I mean, even if I send a message and they get back to me and they're like, oh yeah, I'll take care of this. Like, that to me shows initiative, but no response is no response. You can reach out to Christina at niknax.net about events. You guys know Christina is our event coordinator here. So you can reach out to Christina, support@district.net. Like I said, district is the all-seeing, and sometimes they'll forward stuff to us as well. So they might forward stuff to us if it's something that, is on our level. So we go back and forth, CCing each other and sending stuff back and forth. District support. Oh yeah, there is a district support marketplace as well. So you guys can, comment, but don't share any important, don't share any contact. I know I've seen people share their phone numbers in there, their email address, their personal contact information. Don't be sharing that publicly on the chat channels. That goes for here too. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. People are going to sign you up for all sorts of stuff. You'll be getting emails from places you don't want to get emails from. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's talk about jewelry from India. We're just going to get right into it. We're just going to dive right in. Okay. Let me see if I can find examples, because I don't know what day of the week that was. I don't remember what day. Let me look it up. Not what day, but let me show you examples. So we did have an issue this past week. Counterfeit. All right. So if you just Google India jewelry 925 counterfeit, you'll get a bunch of articles talking about it. I'm trying to find images of it. Oops. Give me 1 second. Once I find an example, I'll be able to talk about it, but I just want you guys to have an idea in your heads of what I'm talking about. I'm not seeing anything here. Why was there not anything out there? Any pictures of it? I know you can't, you can't read my mind. All right, let me see. Oh, images. Wait, maybe that's it. No, that's not it. Gemstone. Oh, we gotta add gemstone. That's the keyword we were missing. See, keywords are important here. You gotta have the keywords. There it is. All right, I don't want to like call out this Etsy seller though, so I'm just gonna do one of these. Okay, I'm gonna show you this here. This is what I'm talking about right here. Okay. This is the jewelry that we don't want to see on Niknax when it is marked 925, because it is not 925. Okay. It comes from a lot of countries. We've found that these specific ones tend to come from India. And we have really talked about this before. And it's not just rings, it's pendants, it's earrings. And we've talked about this before. Some of the ways that these wholesalers get a hold of sellers is through Instagram. Like, it's not just, I mean, they'll reach out to you on Instagram and they'll be like, hey, I noticed that you were selling stuff. I would like to offer you these wholesale rings. So they will reach out to you through Facebook too. So I want everybody to be wary of that specifically. We had an issue earlier this week where a seller was selling these rings marked 925. They are not 925. And the seller was specifically saying they are silver plate. Even if it is marked 925 and you say this is not silver, it is silver plate, that item that is marked 925 is a counterfeit. It is counterfeit. It's marked 925. It's not 925. It is counterfeit. And so that cannot be sold on Niknax if it is marked. So there's two things at play here that go against our guidelines. First of all, it's a counterfeit. We don't allow counterfeits to be sold on Niknax. So that's strike one. Strike two is wholesale. If you have that many rings, we're going to call it wholesale. I mean, if you have like a pile like this big, it's probably wholesale. And especially if you have those little cellophane bags and we all hear the crinkling. No, you're not fooling anybody. We got the crinkling over here. All right, next I have this gemstone ring. I'm going to hang on one sec. Let me. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is vintage, and it is amethyst, and it is very, very heavy silver plate. It feels like silver. It looks like silver. It's marked 925. See where I'm going with this? So my point in saying all this is those cannot be sold on Niknax for two reasons. First of all, they're counterfeit. Second of all, obviously, big lots like that come into wholesale. So let's talk about the pieces that may be coming from India, are not marked 925, but they look similar to these pieces. I understand that a lot of our sellers are purchasing lots from auction. And I realize that, a few pieces might be in a lot, but if it's not marked 925, it is a silver toned ring, and you've got 3 of them, I'm not gonna stand over here and be like, you can't sell that. But if you have 15 of them, I might be like, hey, listen, let's say that's a lot of those, So it just kind of depends. I just want everybody to be using their best judgment. But my issue here is with the pieces marked 925 that are not. They are not. And it all comes down to the quality here on Niknax. Quality is so important to us. Quality, integrity, those are like things that we stand for. What if somebody bought one? Okay, so here's what happened. And I'll just tell you, we had this sale earlier this week. The seller was on for 3 hours. They sold over 100 of these pieces. The following day, the sale disappeared. So I had to get the playback. I rewatched the playback. It was 8 hours long. I got all of the list of the numbers. I got a list of all of the buyers. This took a whole day. I got a list of all of the buyers who purchased, what numbers they purchased, how many they purchased, and then we canceled every single sale of these pieces. And I reached out to everyone personally, and I apologized on behalf of Niknax for letting these counterfeits slip through, and that's how we handled that. So just so that you know, this is how important it is to us, and I mean, we're not going to catch everything as we continue to grow. I realize that. But when we do, this is what happens. So yes, the sale went on for longer than it should have. We realize that. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, Christina was in there. She should have done something. I know some people were thinking that, but she was trying to reach me. And I was unavailable. I was unavailable at the time. She was trying. I finally looked at my phone and I saw like 7 missed calls, text messages. We had messages to the help desk, and I'm like, what is happening? And that's the moment I jumped in there, and anyone who was in there saw my message that said, these are against our guidelines. You can't sell these. I got no response from the seller. We shut it down. So that was the instance that happened. That is how we handled it. Unfortunately, that seller is suspended for a short time. But we don't want counterfeits here. And the reason for that, I mean, obviously they're bad, but what Niknax stands for, hopefully you've all seen our Creamy Babies commercial. We can't have that commercial and then allow for counterfeit items to be sold on Niknax. I mean, it's like, it's sending mixed messages, if you know what I mean. And so we're gonna keep an eye on that. But like I said, I understand, that some of these pieces are going to slip through. I understand that our sellers are going out sourcing and auctions. They're getting big lots of things. Things are going to slip through. But one of the reasons that we have important rules for jewelry, is we have our metal disclosure, we have our gemstone disclosure, is because if you as the seller are accurately representing your items, like, oh, this is a silver plated ring, it is contemporary, the gemstone is real, that's exactly what it is. And you are representing it for what it is, and the buyer is making that decision. It's not a piece that's marked 925. When in doubt, test. Absolutely. Yeah. When in doubt, test. But that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I know we got a ton of messages through the help desk. It was a big deal. So if you have any questions about that, if you want to follow up, if you feel like you need to talk more about that situation particularly, you can always reach out to us at community@niknax.net. That's where you can reach us. Okay. But we're going to continue with our notes, because I could go on and on about that. But now you know what you're looking at. If I could pull those back, where did they go? Oh, here. Okay. So one more time, these are the rings, and the gemstones usually are real. Sometimes they're maybe lab created. I don't know, Junk Monkey, if you want to give some expertise on that. I know in a lot of cases the gemstones can be real, and sometimes maybe they're not, maybe lab created, but they're not 925. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, the labradorite or whatever, over here, I mean, it looks good to me. They've got tiger's eye. They look real. Yeah, a mixture of real and glass. So if it appeals to you, and you know that it's costume, and you know it's silver plated, they're like, I like this thing. It doesn't matter to me that it's, silver, silver tone, but it is not sterling. And we're not going to let those items pass through Niknax and go into circulation because it is counterfeit. So, all right, enough about that. It could be pot metal. I kind of wonder if maybe it's a pot metal, like a white metal, like just an alloy, and then coated in a thin layer of 925. Yeah. So Christina even puts in our notes when it's okay when it shows up in a lot, when it shows up in an auction lot, which it will happen occasionally, but we want to make sure that it's not like 20 pieces showing up in an auction lot. Like we want to limit the exposure to pieces like that because it just kind of like drowns out the quality that we are presenting here on Niknax. That's the issue. Okay, we've got a big big change. This also caused a little bit of a kerfluffle. Is that a thing? I think that is a thing. This week, so I want to go over this as well. We need to discuss this. Guidelines. We have updated our guidelines. Every week I feel like we're updating our guidelines. Remember, you can always check the guidelines. They're in the chat channel. There's a link. The only time you can't maybe check the guidelines is when I'm updating them. Sometimes I turn them off, like access to them. And then when I'm done editing, I turn them back on. So you guys can kind of like, you're like, why can't I access them? Probably because I'm editing them. And I'll do that occasionally just because I'm like trying to get my thoughts together and people are popping in and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks bad because like it's like a run-on sentence or like, and I'm like, I don't want anyone to see my edits. So if I'm mid-edit on a guideline that's important, I will turn it off. But let me pull you down here. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm going to bring you guys down here. Okay, so we have had this guideline since Christmas. We didn't have it in our guidelines. Now it is in the guidelines. So no gifting items during a live stream until the feature is built into Niknax. I'm sorry, until district. It causes too much disruption and inconvenience for our sellers. So now it's in the guidelines. Our sellers can reference the guidelines. Then we have no attempting to pass off misleading reproduction or counterfeit goods as genuine. This has always been a rule, but I've added an example of any jewelry improperly marked to imitate sterling or gold. So this would be your rings that are marked 925 and not. All right. Then down here, we did add this. I guess this is a thing over on Whatnot, maybe. You can't have Whatnot in your username because it confuses people. So we might go through usernames and, kind of trim out some of the Niknax usernames. If your username is Niknax and you don't represent Niknax, we don't want anyone getting confused. So I mean, we're going to do it on a case-by-case basis. I realize that some people might have always had their, like, oh, Niknax shop, like, I sell Niknax, so we'll do that. No, you don't have to worry. You have a different spelling. Don't worry about that. Like I said, case-by-case basis, we're talking. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I added it in here too. Jewelry. Here's our jewelry guidelines. So this is a very specific section specifically for jewelry. So if you are a jewelry seller, this is important to you. You need to read this. I've added this in. Look, I added it in 3 places. That's how I was so serious about this. I was like, I'm putting this in everywhere. All right. So we added that in there. Okay. This is, again, includes directly from foreign wholesalers. No selling jewelry marked 925 that is not nice. Look, there's the 4th time I put it in there. If you guys have not gotten the message yet, I hope now you understand that I'm very serious about this. I don't want to spend another day watching a live sale and dealing with something like I had to the other day. So wholesale. It's in the guidelines. Okay. So we've added wholesale. So this past week, you may have noticed that Amy, Attic on the Beach, is selling her towels and her blankets from India. And yeah, there she is. And also Jenny K is selling her small figurines, her little glass figurines from the Ukraine. These items are purchased via wholesale. They're contemporary, they are new, they are wholesale goods. They had sold these previously, and this was, prior to us kind of opening the door to wholesale, and I had to tell them to please stop. So now, as we are expanding into other categories, we're including cosmetics, we're going to try on snacks, we're going to gemstones, other categories. Obviously, I don't know what that was. That was weird. As we expand into these other categories, we're going to see wholesale. I mean, these other categories kind of, it comes with the territory. So one of the things we wanted to do was kind of make sure that if we open that door, we have control over it. Make sure that we are monitoring it. We have control over it. We know who's doing it, that sort of thing. Oh, shoot. I don't know what's going on here. This is annoying. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? Sorry, you guys got to peek it underneath my nail to get my nails done. All right, here we go. So let's see. What was I saying? Okay, so we kind of just wanted to have a hold on it. And so as soon as I updated these guidelines, the first thing I did was reach out to Amy and Jenny, because I told them when I asked them to stop selling the last time, I was like, if this ever changes, I'm going to let you know. And sure enough, I think the day of the update, I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I've updated the guidelines. If you would like to start selling your items again, you can. But there's a lot of guidelines that go with selling wholesale. Obviously, you have to get permission from us if you plan to sell wholesale. You have to get written approval, just like our other categories, written approval from community@niknax.net for each of the item types being sold. So, for example, Jenny's approved for selling her little figurines from the Ukraine. She cannot start selling wholesale purses. She can't switch and be like, okay, well, now I have approval for wholesale, I'm going to start going to sell purses. That's not allowed. So you get permission for one thing and one thing only. And that is, one thing, obviously. They have to disclose where the items originate from throughout their stream, so, both Jenny and Amy are very upfront about where their items are coming from. We have a jewelry disclosure in here, and obviously please reference the jewelry guidelines, because we're not including wholesale jewelry. Jewelry is its own category. It does not fall under wholesale. We're not allowing that. If items are to be sold wholesale, and at any point in time, if we deem them to be inferior, if we say, oh my gosh, that's such low quality that we can't have that on Niknax, we can't do that. So at that point, we can just revoke permission, and then that's in our guidelines. So if the quality starts going down on that, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is bad, we're going to take it away. So inferior items include those purchased from Temu, AliExpress, the typical players there. At any point in time, we may request the original receipts for the merchandise being sold. So maybe like, hey, you got those things from India, can we see your original receipts? You got those things from the Ukraine, can we see? And I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've actually seen the invoices, at least from either Amy or Jenny. I think they sent them to me. Okay, when permission is granted, they have to add the following verbiage to their host notes, similar to when cosmetics and other things. So I'm an approved Niknax wholesale seller. I am approved to sell blah, and then from whatever country it's from. Okay, so we have to include that in here. Okay, so that is kind of right now what we are requiring as far as wholesale goes. Anybody interested who is selling wholesale has to come through us. They have to tell us what they plan on selling. They have to get permission, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Okay. So that was really the most important update. And I think that was the last update to the guidelines. So that is just something that I thought was really important to go over with you guys. Now I can't get back to my notes. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So if you have any questions about the wholesale stuff, please, you can also reach out to community@niknax.net, obviously. And we can address that for you guys. All right. Yeah, the geode mugs. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Okay. Another thing, this was a weird thing that happened to us recently. We shipped out a box from the Glass Gallery. It arrived at our buyer's house, residence, and the entire box had been saran wrapped. It had clearly been tampered with, and there was an item in the box that we didn't send. It was like body scrub.
It was like turmeric.
Yeah, it was like turmeric body scrub.
I'm pretty sure the girl was allergic to it.
Yeah, and she let us know that she was actually allergic to this turmeric body scrub. It was wild. She like sent us a picture, and we're like, no, we didn't send that. Even Shelby was like, I packed that box. I did not put that in there. Yeah, so one of the things that we do, one of the things that's important, like we do when we pack packages, is we put the label over the seam. We shut the box, we put the label over the seam. So we can tell if the box has been possibly tampered with, if the label is cut. So that's just a suggestion. So that way, immediately when she sent me pictures of the box, I'm like, that's been tampered with. I would throw that away immediately. So that's just a suggestion that I wanted to put in our notes and give you guys, just so everybody's aware. Yeah, they can, but I mean, are people really some are smart enough to do that, but I mean, most people are like, but it was wild. Yeah, the whole top of the box was sliced open. There was no note from the post office saying, hey, we did blah, blah, blah. I know, it's crazy. Yeah, she got what she ordered. She did. She got what she ordered. But that made me nervous. That definitely made me nervous, especially, something she was allergic to. It was stuck in the box. Like, what is that? What is that? Oh, yeah, that's something else I wanted to talk about, Crystal. Thank you. Post office delays. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I will talk about that too. All right. Okay, if you are thinking of selling an item and unsure of, I don't understand this one. When in doubt, reach out. I guess if you're not sure that you're allowed to sell that item, or if you don't know what that item is, you can always reach out. You can post it in the chat channels. There's a bunch of resources all down the down the side panel. You guys can always reach out to us and get input, and not just from us, but from other members of the community. We have so many helpful members that are able to chime in and give you guys, guidance on things. All right, let's see. Okay, now let's talk about kudos. Let's talk a little bit about kudos. Shout out to all who conducted trains this week. We had a lot of really fun trains. So thank you. Christina knows, she says it's not an easy task. And I'm sure if this was maybe your first train, you probably figured that out. But if you were, a veteran conductor, thank you also. You guys do amazing at conducting your trains. And I mean, like, even the trains that were going on, I could see I could see the conductors in there making sure everything was going smoothly, cheering everybody on. And I mean, that's really what we want to see when somebody has a train. We want to see the conductor in there, cheering everybody on, giving people support. And that goes a long way. You can actually really see a difference when you have those people in there, being the cheerleaders. It really does make a difference. Okay, today's tax day. We talked a little bit about that when we started. A lot of people are asking about info on how to find their tax documents. That can be found on district support page. So from there, go to start here, click link under selling in a marketplace, and search tax form for 1099. That's your answer. I feel like it would come from Stripe because that is how you are getting your payouts. But if you were looking for your tax forms, that is districts. Go to the district support page, and you will get. Yeah, I think I got an email. I think I got an email about it. If you are a new live seller and you would like to get some selling experience, absolutely reach out to Elsie, the thrifting teacher. She leads our monthly newbie train. So you can get some experience live selling. It's very it's supportive. It helps you learn what buttons to press, helps you just get an idea for the act of live selling. I know a lot of people get really nervous, but it's just a fantastic train. And I think our members and our community know oh, this is the train, where people are just learning. So there's a lot of support there. And that's Elsie. So the thrifting teacher, you can reach out to her. Let's talk about what we've got on the calendar because it's a lot. Coming up, we have, May 10th. May 10th is the next one. May 10th. All right. Coming up, we have April 25th is Handmade Market. I need to write that down. Oh, that's right before halfway to Halloween. Okay. April 25th. The 26th is Ashton's birthday, so I just have to make sure that I'm good for that. Handmade Market. Okay. Let your freak flag fly. That's a tongue twister. Absolute tongue twister. But I think I nailed it. The idea is to show how your individuality, uniqueness, interests, and passions translate into your art. So basically showcase your personality through your art. Basically, you do you. I like that. So that's the 25th, April 25th. For those of you who are maybe new or don't know, fourth Friday of every month, our marketplace features all handmade. I feel like we feature all handmade. So the entire homepage will all switch over to our handmade items, handmade categories. So it's definitely a happening. It's my idea for it was you go to a craft fair, you go to a handmade market, but having that digitally. So all of our categories will be handmade. We'll have sellers going live, obviously on the Meet Your Maker train, just showing their art. We have halfway to Halloween, April 26th and the 27th. So if you are participating in that, make sure you're getting your Halloween ready. I will also be featuring Halloween on the homepage. So if you're a buy it now seller, don't be afraid to be listing Halloween, even though we are in April. We're halfway there. So I will be featuring Halloween on the homepage as well. So that's your incentive to get some Halloween stuff listed, even if you're not going live. May is our paperweight extravaganza. And the dates for that are May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. Yes, so we are actually we're still in the process of transitioning Niknax or Mainly Made to Niknax. Mainly Made is eventually going to go away. We're kind of consolidating everything onto Niknax. That is the goal. So we're just kind of consolidating to Niknax. It's hard to be all spread out. It's so much easier to have it all in one place, be able to see everything and manage all the moving parts and stuff. All right, let's see. So paperweight extra signups will be posted on Monday, April 21st. Okay, so the signups will be posted Monday, April 21st. There will be more info in the Gazette located in the channel menu on the homepage. That's a really popular one. So make sure you heard that right. Signups will be posted on Monday, the 21st. And more info is located in the channel menu on the homepage in the Gazette. Okay? All right. Other fun things to celebrate today. It's National Laundry Day, so go get your laundry done if you haven't already. I probably need to go take care of that. It is also World Art Day. World Art Day. Gummy Worm Day. I'm going to take care of that one too. Cross that one off the list. It is Jackie Robinson Day. And it is also National Laundry Day. We have that one on here twice. Just as a reminder for all of you who are like, oh no, let it sink in and go take care of it. Okay. All right. So let me revert back to my notes and talk about a little what I've got going on here, what I picked up from your questions. And then I will answer the questions, okay? Collections and tagging. I have been making updates to collections and tags. You've probably noticed what that entails is making previous collections hidden. So they're disappearing. And then basically expanding on those collections and making more options for everybody. I did see a request to make them alphabetical. I do not have an option to make them alphabetical. However, I started putting them in alphabetical order myself. Do you know how many we have? I don't think we ever had religious that I know of. I didn't make it. Wasn't me. Yeah, I don't think we had that one. We should, if you want to put it in the collection. In the collection suggestions, I will remember to put it in there because I do reference that when I'm working on the tags. All right, so let me turn you guys around real quick and just give you a peek at what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm supposed to show you the screen, but I'm going to show you anyway. Okay, so what I've been doing, and you will see this, these are the categories that I've added. So now you have drinkware, tea set, drinkware, teapot, sewing, thread, patterns, notions, fabric, dining. There's a lot under dining. There is a lot. Pitcher set, obviously drinkware, pitcher, kitchen, toothpick holder. Look, we're getting like down to the exact. Okay. Hot plates and trivets. I noticed a lot of people were putting kitchen other. You were putting your trivets under other, and there was a lot of going in there. So I created its own category. I'm seeing questions. Hang on. So then we have all of the drinkware here, tea accessories, framed art. Here's all your art. So this is where I was trying to put it in alphabetical order. And then I realized that I couldn't move collections from page 2 to page 1. And so I kind of just gave up on it. But once I have the ability to do that, I will spend as much time as I need to putting all of these in alphabetical order for you guys, okay? I will do it for you guys. All right, let me show you real quick. If you click list an item, I know they're not currently in alphabetical order, but look at this. You can do this. You can go down here, view all collections. It's chaos. It is pure, absolute chaos here. I know that, and you know that. But what you can do is you can search for it. So you can search blue. And there you go. You've got blue. So my goal for the colors was like, if I were to feature that collection, I want all of those things to be blue. And if I feature pink, I want all of those things to be pink. So what I was seeing previously was like, if somebody had this vase, they would tag it red, black, white, you know, and so then it would be under all of those categories. But obviously it's mostly red. It should probably just be under red. So that's why I put pick one color, because I want it just, if it's like so multicolored that it's just multicolored, it doesn't really need to go. Lamps and lighting, I think that would go under decor. Did it disappear? It did. Okay, hang on. Hang on, I'll fix it right now. Oh, cancel. No. Out, leave. Yes, discard, change it. Okay, I'll fix it right now for you guys. Watch this. New collection. Lamp. So you just put lamp or lamps and lighting. We'll do lamp. We'll do another one for chandelier or something. We'll do ceiling light. We'll do a ceiling light. Okay. So, save changes. There it is. I know. I don't know where that one went. That was a weird one that disappeared, isn't it? And then we'll do decor and then ceiling. I before E, except after C. Okay, I got it. Ceiling light. So we'll just do that. No, you can't add your own text. I have the power. I have all the power. All right, now you have two more there. So now you have ceiling light and lamp. Ta-da! Okay. If you have any more suggestions, you have 4 ice buckets. All right, I'll add that one. We'll add that one under drinkware. Oops, I had new listing instead. Discard. Okay. New collection. Drinkware. Ice bucket. I have to spell drinkware. My nails are so long, I have to get them done. I can't even type anymore. It's that bad. Okay. Drinkware. Ice bucket. Added. It's in there. Why did we remove countries? We removed countries because of a couple of reasons. They were originally put there to facilitate a train we were doing. That was number 1. Number 2 is they weren't actually connected to anything. People were adding them into collections, but they weren't going into any, like, you weren't seeing them forward facing. So yeah, you could tag them, but there in no way was any customer seeing the front end. If that makes sense? So like, even though you guys are tagging these things, nobody's seeing them on the front page. The only way they would see these on the front page is if I decided to feature a category. Maybe I want to do tea, right? So if I did a category that says afternoon tea, and then I pulled the tags, tea set, teapot, tea accessories, and I put all of those tags into that main category of afternoon tea, everybody would see afternoon tea, and then all of the things tagged under those categories would show up under afternoon tea. If that makes sense. So these are just kind of like the background tags. So you're basically just tagging these things so that I can pull from them, if that's making sense. Categories made by me are still there. They should be anyway. And I do have to, tested 925. Yes. So any suggestions at all, please put them in the I would write them down, but it's going to be just a long list. It would be so much easier if you guys just dumped them into the, here, I'm going to show you where it is. Here, let me turn around. So it is right. Chat channels. Where did it go? Category suggestions. Okay, so it's under seller chat channels, category suggestions. So if you are a seller, you can add the category suggestions right here. And I am referencing this when I am adding new categories. I may not respond in here. You might not see me comment, but when I am working on it, I am scrolling through here. Okay. So if I see like something that I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to add it. Like I thought this one was a great idea, with snacks having salty, sweet, savory. I haven't added snacks yet, but when I do, I'm totally using that. So make sure that, you're popping them in there. Okay. So any feedback, any suggestions you have, absolutely add them in there. Too many tags, in my opinion. Yeah, well, that's, yeah. It's a difficult system. I think there should be some sort of subcategories and drop downs, but we're working with what we got. I think having them in alphabetical order is going to help. And we're just going to work with what we got. All right. Another thing I wanted to talk about was late night lives. I was poking around last night, and I mean, I've said this so many weeks in a row, but the late night lives, I'm telling you, if you are able to stay up late, it's a thing. It's a vibe. I mean, our sellers that are going later on, like last night at midnight is when I was checking on things. I mean, I've been checking in on like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Like I've been on there. You guys might not have seen me because I was in the back, but I go in late at night and I check on things. But like and I look at the morning. I go in and I check all of our analytics. And our late night sellers do well. They do well late at night, because people, that can't sleep are like, oh, I wonder what's going on in Niknax. And they go on, they're laying in bed, they can't sleep, and they're just scrolling. I feel like a lot of people would rather be like interacting on Niknax than, obviously doom scrolling on Instagram or something like that. So if you have the time, if you have your inventory close by, if you can go live, I would absolutely encourage you to do so. It's my goal to maybe try to do a late night live, but it's a struggle for me. It's a sure struggle, and all of my inventory is not at my residence, so it requires me to leave my house, which is kind of a bummer. You were up till 1:45 a.m. That's awesome. Well, that's awesome. I mean, like, I feel like it was a good time if you were like up late, just, having a good time. So let's talk about post office delays. So I have gotten a few messages from sellers. And let me see here if I got a response. I'm going to hit this button. And of course it's not logged in. It's not gonna, okay. Well, I can't look at my my help desk response, but we had a few reports of instances where sellers have shipped out items. The post office has sent it all over the place, like over here and over there and up there and down there and back here and over there and up there and down there. And it's been like a whole freaking month, and the buyer's like, where is my item? And I'm like, I don't know. It's somewhere over there. And it results in like 3 weeks later, the seller's like, I don't know what to do. I guess it's never going to get where it's going. I'm going to refund this buyer. And so they'll issue a refund. And then 2 days later, the box shows up where it's supposed to. And so one of the things I want to encourage, I know it was wild. It was like all over the place, and then it just showed up. The post office I don't know what they're doing. We could get into that, but I don't know what they're doing. They're like, oh, we're going to send this box on a tour of the United States, and maybe we'll go up to Canada for a minute. So I want to encourage our sellers that if you are in this situation, and your box is going all over the place, and you're seeing tracking on the item, like you see active tracking, like that item is going places, be in communication with your buyer and let them know, like, hey, like I see that it's moving. Let's keep an eye on it. Prior to a refund, I would suggest reaching out to district support. I was waiting to get a response from them about a report we had that this situation happened where a seller refunded the buyer, and now the buyers received the item. Like, what do they do now? Like, how do they get paid? So I was waiting to see if I would get a response on that, because I don't know the answer to that. So if you are in this situation, before you just issue a refund, if you have tracking on the item, if you're seeing that it's moving, reach out to district. support. Then that's if the buyer is like, I want a refund. But always be in communication with your buyer. Let them know, like, hey, I can see in the tracking that it's moving. Can we wait like a little bit longer to see if it's heading your direction? Like, it's just being communication. Make sure you're talking to them, and hopefully it will end up where it needs to be. Okay. So that's my advice for that, the post office delays. But I think, is modern jewelry allowed now? We do allow for modern jewelry. We do not allow for jewelry that is sourced from places like Shein, Temu, AliExpress, Amazon, Walmart, stuff like that, like new contemporary jewelry. But since a lot of our sellers are purchasing items from auction, there will be like 5 pieces of vintage and antique jewelry in a lot with some contemporary stuff. And we're not going to tell them, oh, you can't sell that contemporary stuff here. You can only sell the vintage and antique stuff. So there is going to be a mix. I like and I prefer the vintage and antique stuff, but I realize that it is going to come hand in hand. It is going to come hand in hand. And I think our sellers probably prefer selling the vintage and antique stuff as well. I could totally think that that's probably what they would prefer as well. But I know from buying auction lots that I may see like 2 or 3 pieces that I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. But then I'm stuck with all this other stuff, and so it's just kind of comes with the territory. You gotta take what you get and find a way to get rid of it. So, modern jewelry, meaning paparazzi. So what I don't want to see, is I don't want to see like, oh, I bought out the inventory of a former paparazzi seller, and I have like 3 totes of like old paparazzi stock. Like, I don't really want to see that. It goes back to our wholesale guidelines. Like, then you're selling wholesale. I don't want to see that. But I mean, if you have 3 pieces of paparazzi in a flat and you're like, okay, I'm going to sell this, that's different. So it's kind of on a case by case basis. We want to keep our quality at a high standard because that's what sets us apart. Yeah, we spend a lot of time in coffee chat talking about jewelry. We sure do. We do. Yes. So that's kind of like the view of jewelry. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think as long as our sellers and our buyers understand that what we want for Niknax is that we want people to think of Niknax as having integrity, having values, having, sellers that care, having, buyers, that are being treated right. All of those things, having a good community, being positive, being family friendly, like honesty, like all of these things, like that's how I want, when people hear Niknax, I want them to think that, because I know they think of other platforms and it's like some bad connotations, but when they think Niknax, that's what I want them to think. And that's very important. I will say that, when I started Niknax, I was like, okay, let's do antiques, vintage, and that's it. But we are expanding and we are going in other directions. I mean, we're growing. Other people want in on this community because it's so great and it's so wonderful. And I'm not opposed to letting other sellers in as long as they can abide by our guidelines and our core values. If they're a good seller, if they have honesty, integrity, if they have our values, and they sell, I don't know, shoes, if they sell modern purses, like, okay, they welcome in, but they have to abide by our vision for Niknax. That's the most important, as we grow. So that's why we're just letting a few sellers in at a time so we can kind of monitor, who's new, who's doing what, where are we going, what's happening, and just a little bit at a time, that sort of thing. So, yeah. UK Niknax, hopefully soon. I would love to see that. How do you move items from mainly made to Niknax? I don't know how to do that on the new dashboard. I don't know if anyone else has done that yet. I'm not sure if anyone has done that yet. There is a lot of quality jewelry that is not quite old enough for vintage. Yes, that is absolutely true. I think, let me see if I can find her. I want to make sure that I get her name right. Of course, I'm not going to find it because I'm on Niknax. I got to go to district. Yeah, Luna Eclectic Menagerie is one of those sellers. When she first started selling, you said, a lot of quality jewelry that isn't necessarily vintage. She had, I remember hopping into her sales. She had some really, really quality, good stuff that wasn't necessarily vintage, but it was nice. I was like, ooh. No, she does sell vintage. But I just remember hopping into her sale when she was, Joyce, when she was just, starting out on Niknax and being like, wow. It does look like she has vintage stuff listed, but in her live, she was selling, some stuff that had been sold on QVC, but that was sterling top. I used to wear one of the charm bracelets. I don't know if you guys remember the sliding charm bracelet that I would wear. I had to find out. I don't know where that went. I think Lori something. You guys might know who I'm talking about. But I love that slide bracelet. It was some of her stuff. Yeah, so she has some really great stuff that's more contemporary at times. I mean, she also sells the vintage stuff, but I've been really impressed with some of the items that she's brought. Yeah, Joan Rivers is QVC. Lori Bond, that's the one. Thank you. That's the one, Lori Bond. Yeah. Yeah. I like her stuff. I like her stuff a lot. And then what's the other one? I don't know if I have any of her stuff here. Oh, man. She does Native American inspired stuff. I forget what her name is. I've sold quite a few of her stuff too. I can't remember her name. I'm bad with the jewelry stuff. I'm not the best with jewelry. The other one. Look, Carolyn Pollock. Yeah, you guys know. You know the ones. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I love this game of charades we have here in Coffee Chat where I'm like, and and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And you guys are like, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. See, that's we got a connection here. It's Coffee Chat charades with Jocelyn. All right. Well, is there any more questions you guys have for me today before we call it? Yay, the vintage lion hat. Woohoo. We finish each other's sentences, not sandwiches. You can tell I've been watching too much Frozen because I almost said sandwiches and then I meant to say sentences because the song says sandwiches. That was a weird thing that just happened. Can we start selling snacks? Yes, but I have to add the Ashton's been so funny lately. He's asking me to make him a sandwich. I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but I'm not going to make you a sandwich. I don't know if this is a TikTok thing where you ask your mom to make you a sandwich. Yes, you can start listing snacks. I have to add the tags. I would wait until I add the tags. No, so you can't make homemade. So here's the thing. And actually, I could have swore wait, let me check. Did I add snacks? I did add snacks. Did I talk about snacks or did I not highlight it? Hang on, let me turn you guys around. Look. Snacks. So we do have snacks guidelines. In order to sell any food or snack items on Niknax, you must acquire approval. Approval through community@niknax.net. We do not allow expired food and drink products. All food and drink products must be sealed and unopened. At this time, all food must be processed and sealed by the manufacturer. Okay? When permission has been granted, a seller must add the following verbiage to their notes with the date of their approval. So yes, you can sell snacks. I need to add the category, but it is not homemade. It has to be manufacturer sealed. Yes, imported snacks are okay, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I think they are, as far as I know. I mean, I feel like that's what makes that category fun, is like the the international snacks, right? Am I right? I heard this is an algorithm now. Can you talk about? Oh, what an algorithm? Is Niknax an algorithm? We don't. I don't. I don't think we have an algorithm. I don't know of any algorithm. Unless they built an algorithm and they didn't tell me. Do you think we'll ever be able to cross post to Vendu? I don't know. That's a good question. I'll ask that. Can I add Westmoreland to the categories? I don't know if we want to add specific manufacturers, because that could create a whole plethora of more tags. We have Fenton because we have a Fenton event. That's why we have the Fenton tag. Yes, you can send. You can send. Why don't you post it in the community chat? I'm sure everyone would love to see it. Do I have to be approved in every category? No. Okay, so if you are approved live seller, you can sell jewelry, you can sell vintage, you can sell antiques. The certain categories that you have to be approved in are wholesale, snacks, cosmetics, and that's it, I think, at this moment. Yeah, I think. You guys will tell me if I'm wrong. And no live cats. No live cats. None of those. I absolutely recommend to live stream to other platforms. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I definitely recommend streaming out for sure. Android update. I do not have any Android updates. I feel like the push had been for the Seller Dash and not Android. There's different focuses at different times, and there's a list, and I feel like the list was Seller Dashboard, and hopefully that one will be crossed out soon, and we can start working on some of the other things, like, for instance, the Android update. Too nervous to do a live. You should try the newbie train and give it a shot. Mid Lux and okay, so selling pre-loved bags, mid Lux and Lux. Okay, so bags, I would say I'm open to bags. I'm a little apprehensive of the luxury, like Louis Vuitton, that's really like the Gucci, those ones, because of the knockoffs. Yeah, I feel like Coach is safe. Although Coach has a lot of knockoffs too, doesn't it? I feel like if it's vintaged, if it's pre-loved bags and purses, I'm okay with that. We would keep an eye on it. Fake Coaches are easy to spot. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, I think it requires, to go live on YouTube. I don't know how many. There's no way to alphabetize. I sent a report in, and hopefully I have the ability to alphabetize soon. I would love to do that. What it shows it was, yes, yeah. So the items during coffee chat that I have featured are from other sellers around the marketplace. I'm trying to feature sellers that might not go live. So I'm trying to feature our buy it now sellers in the store. Occasionally while I'm clicking through, I will click on live sellers, but I'm trying to start featuring our buy it now sellers. I have brand new regular purses in my brick and mortar. Can I sell those? Why don't you send us a message and we can chat, because I feel like that would be considered wholesale. Let's see. All right. Well, I think on that note, I'm probably going to call it. Each month we could all include others. I know, that would be awesome, Claudine. I don't think that's an option yet. I think I am the only one who has the power to include buy and now options from around the marketplace. But I would love, and I have brought it up a couple times, making that an actual feature. But at this time, I'm the market in any marketplace. The owner is the only one who can do that. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'll check it out. All right. Well, I'm going to call it. I'm going to see who we have live right now. I'm actually going to look at my computer instead. I might go live later today from the old shop. I will say that before I pass you guys along. I might go live today from the old shop. I want to start getting rid of stuff over there. So I might go live over there and sell some things. I'm not making any promises yet, but that could be the plan. In any case, tomorrow I am going live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And the Groovy Train is happening tonight. Every Tuesday, every coffee chat. You guys know. Groovy Train. But yeah, so tomorrow I am going live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and I will be doing my recent Goodwill finds. Oh boy, I don't know how they're able to continue to post that. I swear I blocked them. Anyway, who's live right now? Let's see. How about we go to Nena is live. We've rated Nena a few times in a row. How about we go to Gray Poppy Vintage? You guys ready? Here we go. Everybody have a wonderful day. Maybe I'll see you later tonight. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Here we go. Gray Poppy Vintage. There it is. Okay, here we go.